Hello everybody and welcome to Falcon Center with this edition of Table Talk. I'm Connor Hogue.
And I'm Dakota Delbert.
We're going to start with the women's hockey team who had a two-game series this weekend against the St. Catherine Wildcats on home ice. Now they split the series, but Friday night the Falcons won 2-0 with a stellar performance by Christina Pattengale in the net. What did you see from Christina in that game?
She was very focused on the puck. Rebound control looked good. Her positioning was always on center on the puck. Covered anything that was around the net, made sure that she got a whistle when her team needed to get a break pretty much. She played a tremendous game and eventually she got the hard hat for that game. Assistant captain got her first shutout of the season, so congrats to Christina Pattengale.
Yeah, I know it is pretty, it's not frequent you see a letter on a goalie's in a hockey chest, so it really goes to show what she means to that Falcon team.
Exactly, yeah.
I think she had 31 saves for the shutout.
Yep, 31 saves.
I don't know, there's a couple big saves really down the stretch, and a couple. Emily Godwin, I think she's a junior actually, was the game-winning goal, a power play goal. I think it was in the second period, assisted by her hometown friend Kristen Kennedy. And then also a woman assist on the play. And then early in the third, Maddie, was it?
Yeah, man.
Oh, I didn't realize it was from,
Yeah.
Okay. Early in the third, then Maddie Miller got on the board and extended that lead 2-0, and the Falcons held on for the 2-0 win. However, the next night, I think it was at 4 p.m., where the Falcons were a little less fortunate as they came out with the loss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Falcons ultimately fell to the St. Catherine 3-1. Gave up 1 goal in the second and then 2 goals in the third. They did enter back with a goal in the third, but was not enough. They gave St. Catherine a chance to come back into the game, and ultimately St. Catherine picked up the 3-1 win as they got their 3rd win of the season. Ultimately, Connor, St. Catherine was riding a 7-game losing streak coming into
Seven games,
and they dropped the first one on Friday night, but they picked up the win Saturday to end that losing streak. Emily Anderson for St. Catherine got on the board first, followed by Brita Postier and then Mackenzie S. Joe Sedanis was the only girl for Concordia to score for the Falcons.
Mm-hmm. Now, it was the second game in a row the Falcons went with the first period out of goal. That isn't typical with them, but this weekend they did get off to some slow starts, which allowed St. Catherine, who is now 3-8 in the season, to hang around the Falcons squad, who really is much better than they are. How do you think that affected them moving forward with those slow starts?
I think when you have a slow start, it doesn't allow you to prepare for the second and third. Slow starts pretty much set you back and you have to kind of fight your way through that. If you also look at the power plays they had, they were 1 for 5 on Friday night for St. Catherine, and then Saturday night they were 0 for 6 on the power play. They did take a lot of penalties. Friday night they took 5 penalties, so 10 minutes of penalties right there. And then Saturday night they took again another 5 penalties. So when you're putting yourself short-handed that many times, it just doesn't allow you to get in that kind of groove set to start offensive, to start offense pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, St. Catharines, despite their record, they really took it to the Falcons this weekend. Friday night, they outshot the Falcons 31-30, and then in the second game, they pretty much doubled up the Falcons in shots, actually shooting them 35-16. So the Falcons really had to rely on their goaltending, Christina Pattengale.
Mm-hmm.
I know their other goalie, Bea Thompson, has been out with an injury, so Christina, she knows what she's doing. She's been around here for a couple of years. She's a really good goaltender, and she was really holding the Falcons in this weekend. I don't know if St. Catherine really is their record. I think it might be a bit better than their record. This was also the 9th time in program history that the Falcons played St. Catherine, and the Falcons are only at 2-6-1 against them.
Yeah.
So, which kind of surprises me. I mean, from what I watched in that game, it looked like the Falcons were taking it to St. Catharines whenever I was there watching. But I mean, maybe it's just an off weekend for them or an off year, a slow start. I mean, these things happen. But.
Yes. So ultimately, Bea Thompson, the starting goaltender, actually suffered a partial tear in her ACL, so she's going to be done for the year. So Christina has the gateway going forward from here. This was the first matchup for St. Catherine since 2015 of January.
Wow.
So you would assume that their resilience would show for the season. They were riding a 6-game point streak coming into this weekend. So they picked up the W Friday night, ultimately ended that streak Saturday night. Mm-hmm. So they look to bounce back against UW Superior this weekend for another home series.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a little disappointing to the end of the first start of the season. The Falcons not being able to complete the sweep on the weekend.
Correct, yeah.
They don't return for another month until Friday, January 11th for the home series against UW Superior. Up next now, we're going to move to the men's hockey team as they were taking on the Lawrence University Vikings Tuesday night at Lawrence. Unfortunately, the guys fell 5-2 to a hard battling Lawrence team. They've not had the start to the season that they've wanted. Turnovers were the name of the game for Concordia. What did you see out of them that night?
I mean, obviously, his first goal they give up is a backdoor pass and just goes bar down on the goalie. Eric Schutte got his first NCAA start of his career. Didn't go well for him as he was ultimately pulled in the first period after giving up 3 goals. Second goal, pretty much he left the puck behind the net on a power play, gave up a shorthanded goal as a forward, beat the defender around the net, and just easily wrapped it around. And then the third goal was a shot from the point, or shot from the side angle, just ramped up his stick awkwardly, hit the post and went right behind him. It was an unfortunate start for him as his first start. I feel for the kid, as anybody would, but it was just not the effort they were looking for. Ultimately, Falcons fall to 2-8-1 on the season and 0-6-1 in NCHA play.
Yeah, as you said, it's been a recurring theme too with the slow starts and I mean the turnovers. Like that second goal behind the net, everyone just looked like they were asleep at the wheel in that play. I mean, there was no sense of urgency to get back there, and I mean, the Falcons were lucky getting the board in the first period with one of the more bizarre goals I've seen. In case anyone missed it. It was about 5 seconds left in the first period, and Lawrence pulled their goalie.
Lawrence pulled their goalie with 5 seconds left to try to go up 4-0.
Yeah.
Ultimately backfired as they lost. Falcons won the face-off, chipped it off the glass out of the zone, and then forward Dante Hahn was just getting through the zone. Didn't even look like he knew what was happening. He had 3 seconds on the clock, picked his head up, saw there was an empty net. I mean, why not? Took a shot with 3 seconds left and ended up scoring with a second left to make it a 3-1 game.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on through Lawrence's head there. I mean, it's not necessarily a bad play to pull the goalie. Like, realistically, that should never go in the back of your own net. But everyone there, I think they thought there was less time on the clock than there was.
Oh, exactly.
Because they were like in quicksand, man. It stood still, no one moved. It was bizarre. Even like looking at it, it was like, what is going on?
The fans were lost. I had kids come up to me going, "What just happened?" And I'm like, high risk, high reward play right there, you know. But yeah, it was a bad game for the Falcons. I mean, they took 7 penalties, a lot of dumb ones too, a lot of retaliation.
2 full 2-minute 5-on-3s, which are killers.
Which cannot happen.
No.
Cannot happen. And I mean, the shots on goal were even. It was 33 for Lawrence, 32 for Concordia, so you can't blame the shot total. Lawrence's goalie, Evan Klein, made 30 saves on the night. I mean, he had a good game.
He had a good game.
I mean, if you think about it, he gave up 1 goal against, besides his coach pulling him for an extra attacker. So you can't blame him. He played well in net. The goals for Concordia were scored by, as we said, Dante Hahn on an empty netter late in the first, and then Braden Barker at 7:26 in the third. You just run me by it, like how that play worked.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, obviously it was all too late, but at least spoiled the shutout. So, you know, when you're down like that, a lot of teams, you look for something positive. It's nice to at least spoil the shutout for a goaltender that late. It was nice by Barker to keep the puck on the wall up top, and he just fired it down low, and he went to the net, and Taylor Gauld, who got the primary assist on the play, just dished it out front, and Barker just put it in. He's going hard in the net. It's the type of hockey the Falcons need to get back to. Falcons controlled most of the play of that game. They gifted Lawrence 5 of their goals, and credit to Lawrence, man. They took advantage. They were opportunistic. They took advantage of their scoring opportunities and put the puck in the net, and ultimately won the game. But the biggest thing too was having that momentum going into the second period, getting that last second goal. A goal in the last minute of every period is massive.
Oh yeah.
But again, the Falcons just shoot themselves in the foot, and how damaging was that 4th goal that was opening the second period that just took away all the momentum.
As soon as that goal was scored, the players just lost. It looked like all the players lost hope. They kind of just started playing dumb, playing stupid. And I think if the Falcons are going to turn the season around, they're going to need their star players to start leading them. Their captains, Stefan Seal, and then the All-American defenseman Braden Barker has to get on the scoreboard more often. They got to stay out of the box. They need bigger goaltending from Bo Dieter and Dakota Delbridge. I know Eric Schutte got his first start, so hopefully he'll get a chance again and bounce back from there.
Yeah, the Falcons they do have a history of being undisciplined, and it's the untimely penalties too. I mean, there's you can't be taking penalties when your team's already down. I know that another positive is they have killed off 17 power plays in a row.
Really?
Yeah, 17 power plays in a row they've killed off. They killed off 2 full 5-on-3s, which is really hard to do, and those are supposed to be momentum swings back in the favor when you kill off those massive penalties, but Falcons just couldn't seem to get it going. So I guess on the right side, if they're gonna be in the box as much, they got good penalty kill. that is helping them out. The power play needs to get going, start taking advantage when they get their opportunity. And overall, really just need to kind of start putting full games together, kind of really piecing together a full game, 60 minutes, and hopefully they'll start having better luck. Then we're gonna move on to, they had another game that Friday, because that was a rare Tuesday night game. Doesn't happen too often, but Friday night, the Falcons welcomed the number 1 ranked team in the country, the University of Wisconsin Stephen Point Pointers, and they showed why they're the number 1 team in the country.
Oh, yeah, I mean, their passing was tape to tape unbelievable. I mean, they just dominated that game. The Falcons had about 3 shots in the first period compared to Stevens Point's 20 or so. I mean, they just skated around him. And credit to Bo Dieter for finally putting up a big game, which he needed. The freshman from West Vancouver, Canada, made 52 saves on the night compared to his counterpart, Connor Reichman, who made only 19 saves.
Yeah, I know. He was not a busy man that day, but I mean, at the same time, you got to give credit where it's due, too. It's got to be tough to just be standing in net the whole time. Right. And then he made that one big save on Taylor Gault on the breakaway. Right. I don't think he'd seen a shot for...
I think it was the first shot of the period, the second period, and we were already 5 minutes into that.
5 minutes into that, and he made a huge save. He made it look routine. So it's got to be tough to kind of stay focused when you're not really doing anything, and all of a sudden you got to stop the best chance you can possibly ask for.
Right.
So I know he wasn't that busy, but at least he shut the door where he needed to shut the door.
Yeah, and going off your point, the Falcons did kill off another 5 power plays that the Pointers had. I mean, both their goals came at even strength, but Concordia did score a power play goal, 1 for 4 on the night. Just walk us through the goal and tell us what you saw and what happened right there.
Yeah, well, I think there was about 9 seconds left in the 5-on-3, and it's always tough sometimes when the extra mans that have come back on the 5-on-3 guys maybe don't necessarily know where to go. Right. If you don't communicate, you kind of lose your man, so it can be kind of hectic for the defensive team getting that extra guy back. And there was just a bouncing puck, and Josh Atkins was trying to get towards the net, and he took advantage of a Stevens Point team that was out of sorts, and it bounced back door, and the Falcons were able to put it in the back of the net and tie the game up at 1. And that was huge for the Falcons get to take advantage of that power play, because they were getting outchanced significantly. Right. And it can be frustrating for those teams when you are playing your team and somehow it's tied. You just wonder what else do you have to do. But the Stevens Point, they got right back to work. Like I said earlier, they showed why they're number 1 team in the country, and they really pounded the Falcons for the next 10 minutes or so. And again, turnovers, name of the game.
Bo came up big for them. But yeah, there was no way they were going to win that game. If the only reason they would lose that game is the Pointers made a huge mistake of their own, which they didn't. So they held strong, showed why they're the number 1 team in the country, and ultimately handed Concordia another loss in the evening. Yeah,
Concordia they're still winless with 1 tie in conference play. They need to start getting those conference wins, getting the playoff picture. They return to action this Wednesday as they travel to Marion for a rare exam week game. Don't see those too often, but they will be taking on the Marion Sabres on their Olympic-sized ice Wednesdays. So hopefully they can break out and finally get a conference win.
Yep, and we'll get a rematch of head coach Jason Wise versus his former assistant coach Zach Gaynor. Now for men's hockey, we'll take it on over to men's basketball as they had a matchup against Edgewood this past weekend as they defeated them 74-56. So Connor, just tell me about the game a little bit. Who were the star players and how the stats look?
Yeah, well, as you said, they had a pretty decisive win over Edgewood, winning by just almost 20 points. Now, Concordia, they got a good basketball team. They now move on to 4-0 in conference play and 4-2 in the season overall. But top players, Falcons again, they had leaned on their senior Jake Jers. He's been a solid player for this Falcon squad for the last 4 years. He had a team high 14 points. And another senior, Josh Howe, also had team high 8 rebounds. So Falcons are senior dependent, but which isn't a bad thing when they are getting the job done. But CW had a 10-point lead with just over 6 minutes left in the game. They were winning 63-53, and they had 2 massive buckets by the younger brother of Jake Jers, Jared Jers, a freshman who's really fitting in well with this Falcon squad, and sophomore Jordan Johnson, who both those buckets were huge, and they got the Falcons going in the right direction. And down the stretch, their defense was strong, as they only allowed 3 points in the last 7 minutes of the game to hold on. But I've sat down with Jake and Jared and talked to them, 2 really good guys, and they had a lot to say about their teammates and their defensive ability here down the stretch. That's how the Falcons really rely on to be successful, and it really showed in the last 7 minutes that they closed out that game.
Right, and to talk about their defense, let's talk about their offense now. They were 32 for 63 from the field for a 50.8% field goal percentage. They out-rebounded Edgewood 41 to 29. I mean, the assists were even, 14-13. But the real thing here, 54 points in the paint to 14.
Wow.
That is unbelievable.
That is.
So 54 of those 74 points were in the paint, so the 20 came from outside the paint. So Edgewood did not do a great job at defending down low. They did pick up another win. That is their 4th win in a row as they look to play Marion this weekend. 4:15 start at Marion, just FYI for those fans out there. And yeah.
No, I know. Well, like you said, man, they really poured a lot offensively. They went into at halftime with just a 1-point lead, 34-33. So they really took off in that second half, and that's really what separates the okay teams from the good teams, man. You know, and the ability to take off from your opponents. That's unbelievable to outscore your opponent in the paint like that. You know, Edgewood's got to do a better job of boxing guys out, and just protecting the hoop. But you know, it's good for Concordia, man, to be able to penetrate that and put up those numbers. So that's really astounding. And really overall, it was a great team victory for the Falcons. As you know, they outchanced, outshot, outscored, out everything basically in that game over Edgewood. So like you said, they are back in action this Saturday as they take on Marion, and it's scheduled for a 4:15 tip-off.
Right, and Marion is currently riding a 2-game winning streak from last season against Concordia, so Concordia will look to break that streak. We'll see you there.
Now, just as the men's basketball team took care of business in Madison, Wisconsin, to take on Edgewood, the women did the exact same thing as they defeated Edgewood 53-40 as they led wire to wire throughout the entire match. What did you see out of that Falcons team?
Well, just to clarify right there, it wasn't wire to wire throughout the game. Concordia took a 7-2 run in the first 3 minutes of the game, which ultimately led to a 23-9 first quarter. I mean, they absolutely came out of the gates firing. From then on, it was pretty even, 11-12 in favor of Edgewood, and then 10-7 in favor of Concordia. And then to close out the game, Edgewood got 12 points compared to Concordia's 9, but ultimately wasn't enough, as that first quarter was a big one right there. Former female athlete of the week, Ariana Lindencote, led the team in scoring with 11 points, and Bailey Barker led the team in assists with 6. Pretty much, Edgewood out-rebounded Concordia 39-36. They had a lot more turnovers though, 17-9. Concordia led the game with 26 points in the paint to compare to Edgewood's 8.
Edgewood.
Concordia led with 26 points in the paint compared to Edgewood's 18. So overall, great start to the game, which ultimately led to a victory in the end.
Yeah, there was a lot of positives come out of this victory. Obviously, when you lead wire to wire, that's always something to be proud of. But Concordia was really disciplined. They had a season low of only 9 turnovers. And one of the biggest things, too, is the depth that this Falcons squad has. They had upperclassmen and underclassmen leading the way for this Falcon team. Like you said, Ariana Lindencote, a junior, she had a game-high 11 points. Freshman, Cameron Solzga, had 10 points coming off the bench in 15 minutes. That's very efficient shooting there. Senior, Bailey Barker, like you said, led the team with 6 assists. And then junior, Clara Chambers, that had 9 points and had 5 rebounds on her own. So, I mean, really it's just scoring by committee, not really relying on one person or an upperclassman to kind of lead the way. It's a well-rounded team effort, and it clearly showed with the dominant victory in Edgewood.
Right, and they improved to 4-3 overall and 3-2 in conference, actually snapping a 2-game losing streak after they lost 57-33 against Wisconsin Lutheran, and then losing to Lakeland in overtime by final score of 77-70. So they're on right track for this upcoming game Wednesday, December 19th. Versus UW Whitewater. Tip-off's at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, so we'll look to see you there, folks. And folks, just to let you know, for this upcoming schedule, this is what we got going on here at CUW. So December 12th, Concordia is going to take on Marion for men's ice hockey at Marion. Then men's basketball will travel to Marion at December 15th for 4:15 tip-off. Wrestling, December 17th, they'll take on Wayland Baptist, North Central, and then Wartburg, so don't miss that one. And then Connor, you take it from here?
Yeah, both basketball teams are going to be in action as their winter break is going to be delayed a bit more than everybody else. As both the men's and women's basketball team are in action December 19th. Women's basketball takes on UW Whitewater, they're ranked number 22 in the country, and men's basketball is taking on Illinois Tech. Women's tip-off at 6, and men tip-off at 8:15.
All right, that does it all for us here at Falcon Chat, or what was it?
That does it all for us. Falcon Center Table Talk.
So that does it all for us here at Falcon Center Table Talk. I'm Dakota Delbridge,
I'm Connor Hogue.
and thanks for watching.